to the Jets. Badly. Jack rose from the couch and turned off the television. "You have to be an animal to survive as a quarterback now," he remarked, shaking his head. "Is that so?" I said. "I have about as much interest in football as I do in the Balk and steel industry." He smiled at me. I tossed the magazine under the coffee table. "I think I'll change my clothes before we go out." "Yeah, me too." Jack frowned. "You think I need to shave again?" I reached up and trailed an index finger along his jaw. "If you're looking forward to any action later this evening, it might be a good idea." "My God, where's my razor?" "Where it usually is." I went into the bedroom, yanking my sweatshirt over my head. "You haven't used this on your legs, have you?" Jack called from the bathroom. "No, dear, it's all yours." I shimmied out of my jeans, folded them, and dropped them at the foot of the bed. I walked to the dresser and took out a pair of pantyhose and a half-slip. Next, I opened the closet, frowned at its contents a moment, and then selected a green knit dress that was really nothing more than an oversized turtleneck. With a big leather and brass Moroccan belt, it actually looked sophisticated. Anyway, the style and the color were right for a tall redhead. Jack came into the bedroom as I was combing my hair. He had nothing on from the waist up. He went over to the closet and began rummaging through it. "I do have some clean shirts here," he said, digging away. "Don't I?" He and I kept a minimal amount of fresh clothing at each other's houses. I liked the way the muscles under the skin of his shoulders and back flexed and relaxed, and I stopped what I was doing to watch him. Jack was 6'3", with a lean, taut build. Hair and eyes were light brown, the bone structure of his face very well defined. His ancestors were Scots and Prussian, but when I saw him in certain lights and from certain angles, I wondered if there might not be a Plains Indian somewhere in the family tree. It was his cheekbones. Jack always reacted with surprise when I told him how good-looking he was. I resumed fixing my hair as he shrugged into a blue cotton shirt. Then I bent forward and peered into the dresser mirror to see if my makeup needed freshening. My face was intact, but for lipstick. I reached for it. "Jack?" "Yes?" "Want to walk to the restaurant?" "Sure." He turned to me and smiled, straightening his tie. "Now I won't lose the parking place right outside." We left my apartment and walked down the street in the cool twilight. "So," I said, when we reached the corner, "you were so engrossed in the Patriots all day, I never had a chance to ask you what's new in the crime biz." "Another woman got assaulted on Dana Street late last night." I paused with one foot off the curb and said, "Oh no, was it the same guys?" "It looks like it." I sighed. "How's the woman?" "In the hospital with a concussion, plus assorted cuts and bruises." Jack shook his head, hard. "God, I hate this stuff." "I know you do." We cut diagonally across the intersection. "How many does this make now?" 6. We were referring to a series of particularly violent attacks on women that had begun that past June. One that month, 2 the next, 2 in August, irregularly spaced. Each incident, as the cops called them, followed the same pattern. A woman walking by herself, late at night, would be jumped by 2 men. After they'd robbed her of whatever cash she was carrying and whatever jewelry she was wearing, the 2 would beat her until she lost consciousness. One of the women had suffered a broken jaw and 3 cracked ribs. Another had had her nose and right arm shattered. Another's skull had been fractured. She had stayed in a coma for a week. No one had been raped. No one had died. Yet. There had been no witnesses, other than the victims, to any of the attacks. The best description of the 2 guys the women could come up with was that they were in their late teens or early 20s and black. One was about 6 feet tall and the other about 5 feet 8 or 9. The taller of the pair carried a length of pipe and used it on the women, which was probably why none of them had been able to describe their attackers more closely. It's hard to get a really good look at someone when you have blood running into your eyes from a major head laceration. "Who's investigating?" I asked. "Teddy and Joe," Jack replied. I raised